Okay, so welcome to the webinar. You're all on this WebEx because you want to find out about the needs assessment that we have an RFP out for. The needs assessment is for pre-kindergarten programs for children 3, 4, and 5 years old in which individual education programs are implemented, and the funding is expected to go from August 1st of this year to January 31st of 2020. So let's see if I can get my slide to advance here. And it's not advancing. I have some technical support here, so. There we go. Okay. This question is specific to program quality and not IEP implementation. As some of you know, Connecticut's starting age for kindergarten is for children that are 5 on or before January 1st of the particular school year. And as a result, we have 4 months of 5-year-olds in Connecticut that are kindergarten eligible. For the purpose of this RFP, only 3, 4, and 5-year-olds in pre-K should be considered. We're seeking information about pre-K quality only, not kindergarten. The Department of Education at this time has not defined quality. Applicants are encouraged to use the literature to determine which proxies for program quality are recommended to give CSCE the best overall picture of quality in programs in which 3, 4, and 5-year-olds with IEPs are served. For example, curriculum, assessments that are being deployed, and the use of the Connecticut Early Learning and Development Standards. Keep in mind that the examples I just gave you are just that and not an exhaustive list. The Connecticut Office of Early Childhood, which is a separate agency from the Department of Education, is in the development process of a quality rating and improvement system and is aware of this RFP. Leadership at the Office of Early Childhood has changed since the development of the RFP, and specific information about the direction of QRIS is not available at this time. If you have any specific questions about Connecticut's QRIS work to date, you can email me at andrea.brunel@ct.gov, and I'll forward the inquiry to the appropriate person at the Office of Early Childhood to get you an answer. Additionally, the Office of Early Childhood has general policies, some of which address quality in programs funded by the OEC. And they can be found on the OEC website. If you go across the top, there's a drop-down menu, and you can go to grants. And if you click on any grant program, you will be able to see the general policies. There is currently not a requirement for program quality data to be collected from programs that serve young children with IEPs. The exception to this are programs that also receive state funding. So in Connecticut, that would be School Readiness or Smart Start. Those programs are required to meet the state quality requirements noted in the OEC general policies, and there are overlaps between those programs and the kiddos that I'm asking through this RFP that we locate some of the quality. Connecticut State Department of Education does not currently collect information about young children aged 3, 4, and 5 that have IEPs other than what is collected. Oops, let's go to the next slide. Other than what is collected on IEPs. We're seeking to find out more about the programs that these children are served in. We would like a high-level idea of what programs in general in Connecticut are doing well. For example, the majority of programs are using the Early Learning and Development Standards. And areas that may need more development, and examples that could be planning for classroom instruction based on IEP goals and not general best practice, or the Early Learning and Development Standards. Please note that these are only examples and they shouldn't be considered as fact. I was just using them as examples. Please know that Connecticut has 169 school districts and would expect a representative sample for whatever methodology is chosen. There are approximately 5,500 3, 4, and 5-year-olds in pre-K with IEPs. Not all of the students on IEPs are in programs. Some have itinerant services only. The primary purpose for finding out more about the quality of programs in which 3, 4, and 5-year-olds with IEPs are served is to more effectively deploy state supports, training, technical assistance, etc., as well as funding opportunities to improve program quality for children attending these programs. The Department of Education does not expect specific recommendations for program improvement as a result of this project. Applicants may choose to make general recommendations for quality improvement, for example, which areas of improvement are higher leverage areas for technical assistance. The applicant should propose a sampling methodology that will provide an adequate representative sample for the project. The awardee will be able to submit data requests for aggregate information about specific districts, with the exception of you won't be able to get information from LEAs, local education agencies, or school districts with less than 6 identified children, because that would make it personally identifiable information. You'll also be able to get information about region and statewide. The research should be focused on programs in which IEP services are implemented. This does not include itinerant services or programs in which children are enrolled in addition to programs that they receive their IEP services. For example, a child attends an LEA program in the morning and receives his or her special education services in that program, and then attends a Head Start program in the afternoon with no IEP services. So we wouldn't be interested in finding about the services in the afternoon for the additional enrollment, just for the services in the morning where that child is enrolled and the IEP services are implemented. The funding stream of the program, however, is not a criteria. The provision of IEP services is. The Department of Education is not requiring any specific methodology to answer this question. It's up to the applicant to propose the specific methodology as well as the proxies for quality. This should be a high-level analysis and will not be delving into child-level data, not specific IEPs or reviews of files of specific children. We're seeking an entity for this opportunity that has had experience with needs assessments and familiarity with young children. The entity receiving this award should have demonstrated capacity in this area, as well as the ability to collect and analyze sufficient data. We would like to fund an entity to do this work that has demonstrated capacity for this type of project, as well as staff and infrastructure to support and manage the project. It's important to the Department of Education that the entity demonstrate familiarity with both early childhood best practices and quality, as well as special education. Once the grant is awarded, the Department of Ed will send correspondence to all Connecticut special ed directors introducing the project and the awardee, and letting the LEAs know that the awardee will be gathering information, but will only be sharing de-identified information with the Department of Education. We will make available an email address list for all special education directors for surveys and correspondence regarding this project. So, although not specifically prompted in Appendix C, your answer should include a description of the proposed needs assessment and how it will be implemented. This can be done in the sections in which you discuss key stakeholders and the staffing capacity and timeline for the project. We would appreciate that narratives stay within the 8-page limit, but we won't penalize applicants if you go over the page limit and the overage isn't substantial. As long as the basic template prompts are used, the applicants can feel free to use a Word document to allow for narrower margins. Additionally, applicants are allowed to provide attachments, and examples of attachments are CVs, annotated timelines, sampling methodology, organization charts, logic models, workflow charts, etc. The awardee will not have access to student-level data, but will be able to make data requests from CSCE pertaining to specific LEAs. And again, if it's less than an N of 6 or less, we won't be providing that data as it would be considered personally identifiable. Data requests can be made again for regions of the state and statewide data as well. Applications will be scored using the rubric, with each section scored holistically by multiple scorers. We're checking to see if the affirmative action plans that are not on the State of Connecticut template are acceptable. In the event that they are, a draft would need to be submitted prior to the RFP submission deadline to determine if the alternate template is acceptable. The deadline for the applications are June 28th at 4 o'clock, and they should be submitted electronically to andrea.brunell@ct.gov. The cover sheet may be signed by an authorized individual from the applying entity.